Hello, welcome to Premier Guns, and today we're going to be talking about the new release from Browning, the Browning 525 Autumn Game. So, starting from the back and working away to the front, the Autumn comes with a Browning 525 Inflex pad system. Great design really, it means you can change the length of pull very easily, so you can make it shorter and you can make it within reason as long as you wanted, because you can get spaces as well to make it up. So this aids in gun fitting. I'm glad they put this on a game gun, because traditionally game guns came with hard heel plates or pads that you couldn't change very easily without a gunsmith cutting it flat. So I'm glad this has been incorporated onto a game gun, especially at this price point. Moving along, I think you can agree, stunning piece of wood on this model, this particular one that we have in stock. Come with grade 3-4 walnut. Incredible piece of wood really for the price point. A lot of the EWA stuff guns, so these are classes like EWA specials, so they were released at EWA, a gun show in Germany. They do them every year, do a run of limited editions, and this was one of them. But they all come with typically nice wood on them. So moving along a little bit here, so we get to the checkering. No palm swell on this, obviously being a game gun, but it does come with this. I would say on the coarser side, checkering, laser done. So again, at this price point, you're not going to be expecting hand checkering here. But for the money, it fills the hand, especially if you have gloves on. It's very tactile, so doesn't move in the hand, especially when you've got gloves. But it can, some people have said it's a bit sharp, a bit too sharp being laser done. So obviously, it will bed in, but like a new pair of shoes, you've got to bed them in, almost like checkering really to a degree, can hurt people's hands. Moving into a bit more of the interesting part of the gun. Trigger, so it's a fixed trigger, being a game gun, so pretty much what to be expected there. If I'm being honest, I don't really understand why they don't just put adjustable triggers on game guns and trap guns. I've never understood it, to be honest. It makes perfect sense to have an adjustable trigger, even on a game gun, because it's not like, a game gun fits better than a sporter if you need the trigger adjusting. So anyway, just a bit of a point of interest there. Comes with this sort of brassy gold plated finish on it. Does wear off over time, but you can have them changed out eventually, but it can wear. Nice, the actual trigger guard on this, I wouldn't say it's any bigger than a normal one, but I do like the Browning trigger guards for one reason. If you are wearing gloves, being a game gun, which you more than likely probably would be, you get your gloves in them. Certainly, let's say Italian stuff can be on the smaller side, so having the fact that the trigger guard is a little bit bigger, I mean you get your hand in there, get your finger in there, a lot better if you have thicker gloves, if you suffer with the cold. Teardrops on the side of the stock, so this denotes the grade of the gun. Only higher grade guns have teardrops on them. The reason for this, it's quite a skilled thing to carve out because it has to be done by hand. So it's nice to see that on, and I think it just makes it look a bit nicer as well, the overall profile of the stock. But it is nice to see that on this price point of a gun. Obviously, starting from the safety catch, barrel selector, pretty self-explanatory, which barrel you want to shoot. Nothing's changed there. This gun has got auto-save, so when you engage the safety catch, so when it comes off safety, shoot, open the gun, it comes back onto safe. Game guns traditionally come with that, sporters don't. It can be taken off though, so if you didn't want an auto safe on this gun, it can be taken off, not a problem at all. And vice versa, if you come to sell it or if you wanted it back on, it can be put back on without much hassle at all. So obviously this is the main part really of this gun, the engraving. So it's a completely new engraving style, and when I say that, a lot of Browning guns, certainly like limited editions, the Crown, the actual engraving style is of a grade 5 gun, like a 325 grade 5, so it's an older style that's been around and just sort of almost brought it out the archives. But this, to my knowledge, is completely new. Obviously laser done or rolled, it's not going to be hand done at this price point, but it is very tastefully done. It's not an in-your-face style engraving, so nice floral and scroll engraving. Which is quite nice really, but the main part is this little pheasant in the centre. So it's got a plain oval, but but inside it's got it's almost like a silver inlaid pheasant. I'm glad they've gone with silver and not gold, because I think gold looks a little bit tacky. Certainly on a gun, let's say, you know, gold doesn't do much for me on guns anyway, from a personal point of view. But yeah, the silver inlaid pheasant, like what they've done on the crown, is that same style. I think it's really nice, and to be honest, the detail in the pheasant for, you know, a laser engraved gun is incredible. To get that done, replicated by hand, would cost an absolute fortune. But if you turn it over, also, it says obviously on the bottom, Browning limited edition, to say it is a limited edition gun. You've got the date stamp here, so when the gun was manufactured, and a date code. A little bird down the bottom. Again, in the same silver inlay as before, which I like. Then on the other side of the action, you obviously have the pheasant on one side, and now you've got the duck. So again, incredible detail really. Silver inlaid as well. Really like it. I think when I first saw it, I thought it might have looked a bit plain, a bit boring when I saw it at the show, when it was announced at the British Shooting Show. But now actually having it in your hand, it's very tasteful and it's nice. But this is the thing, you look at things at first, you think, ooh, or you almost get like a base instinct of what you think of it, but then when you look at it and you see them see them around, they grow on you. So this has grown on me. I personally don't shoot game guns anyway, and I think game engraving specifically on, I'd say on any gun really, can look a little bit cheap, or it can look not done very well. Certainly on the hand engraved stuff, because the actual, you know, birds or animals are harder to engrave because you need a lot more detail. Sometimes they can look a little bit cartoonish, but this one's been done incredibly well. So that's nice. Right, moving on to the barrels. 3-inch chambers to be expected in the modern world, especially in the game. Obviously for clay shooting, 3 inch isn't really needed, but for game shooting it certainly is. Certainly when you're looking at your heavier load, certainly steel, not 3.5 inch, but 3 inch to be expected really on a 525. All high performance steel shockproofed as well, just to mention. So people worrying about steel, to be honest, all modern Browning now come in high performance steel shockproofed, but this one is obviously as well. As long as the choking allows it. So what I mean by that is the gun can have the high performance steel shockproof mark, but you can't put high performance steel through anything tighter than quarter, in my opinion. I think quarter is the tightest really you should be going with high performance steel. Standard steel, quarter, half really, you'd be okay. But I have seen in some cases half bulge barrels with standard steel. It's a difficult one. It's not, there isn't a cut and dry answer. Really, to be on the safe side, just if you're shooting steel, 2 quarters, and you'd be safe then for your gun. But definitely high performance, we've got to be quarter or less, nothing tighter. Top rib on these is a standard Browning 6mm game rib, nothing particularly exciting there, non-tapered, so 5mm to the front, to the back. Nothing changes. Bead at the end isn't a fluorescent bead or anything like that. You can have them fitted, but again, it comes with the standard silver bead. Being a game gun, keeps it a bit more traditional. Multi-choked, like all modern guns should be now. Invector Plus on these, so all the 525 actions are Invector Plus. Some of the other ones are Invector, but all the modern stuff now is Invector Plus. Great choke system. A lot of aftermarket chokes out there for people that want aftermarket chokes, like extended, ported, or even flush. You can get aftermarket now. Midrib on this gun is fixed, being a game gun, so I quite like a fixed midrib. So certainly when it's raining, water can't get in, potentially rust from the inside in a sense. It makes the barrels, in my opinion, a little bit heavy. I personally quite like a fixed midrib gun, but personal preference. I haven't got a box to show you today, but this gun will come in the standard Browning black with the gold lettering on the top, ABS case, nothing particularly fancy. Comes with a set of 5 flush chokes, but if you decide to have a gun off us, for argument's sake, and you wanted, let's say, 2 fulls or 2 3/4 or whatever, we could always mix and match the chokes to your needing, to your liking. So I say when people come to buy a gun, don't worry too much about the chokes, because we can always work something out with chokes. Yeah, in the box, nothing particularly. You don't get anything, it's just the chokes, the box, and that's about your lot. Get a manual, book of words. This Browning Autumn also has the option, which we have had one, but we have sold it, had the option to come in as a pair, a proper pair, so consecutive serial numbers 1 and 2 inlaid in gold. So if you were looking for, let's say, a cheaper pair, obviously pair guns tend to be quite an expensive thing, because you're buying 2 guns, but a lot of traditionally expensive guns come with pairs. But they did do this model in a pair, so if you wanted a pair of guns on let's say a budget, or certainly on a less expensive route, this would be a very good option. Can be ordered, so if it was a gun you wanted in a pair, it can be done. That's just a bit of a quick video talking about the Browning 525 Autumn game gun. If you like the gun or have any questions, let me know, drop them in the comment section below, or alternatively call the shop or send us an email. All the information in the description box below, and we'll see you in the next one.